Hello and welcome to this episode of See It to Model It, where we look at satellite and drone footage to analyze it through the modeler's eye. This drone footage is from Scott Hiddleston. Have a look at his channel and subscribe. Let's have a look at the footage. So in this very first episode, we're going to have a look at a trestle. Just this one scene right here is great to model. The train appears from behind a cut and a tree, then goes over this embankment and then straight onto the trestle. This will generate a great sense of distance and travel on your layout with all these different elements, with a beautiful valley underneath and trees in the background. So much to model. But let's first put this into context. Where is this located? Let's have a look at these satellite images. You see here on the right, the train comes in and makes its first bend here in the bottom. So the more bends the track has, generally the steeper the grade of the track will be. So it gets a bit bendy, and here we have a 180 with, as you can see already from the satellite image, a cut through the land. So when planning a railroad, you want to have the least amount of bridges, trestles, cuts, and embankments, because they all cost money. So that's why the track often hugs the contour of a mountain or a hill, as you see here as well. So then we make another 90-degree turn through a small cut, and we wiggle away and we hug the mountain, and then we come to the trestle we're going to discuss today. We have to go from this mountain to this ridge on the left side. So for that we need a sharp corner. It's the sharpest corner in this almost entire section of the track. Let's just follow it a bit. We keep on hugging the mountain through some cuts, and then we jump from this mountain, as you see here, to the one on the other side with some bends, and we disappear into a tunnel. If we go back to the trestle, just look at the coloration. You see there's a lighter green in the middle, so that's always a clue that there's some water there, like a river or a creek. You see there's a different darker color of greenery as well for the trees. And then if you look at the other soil colors, it's this brown, light gray color with some green sprinkled onto it. At the bottom of a trestle, there seems to be some private land. That's always a great feature to model, because land generally does belong to someone. If we zoom in a bit more, we can see that. Looking at the track, we have this cut, and then we have a embankment, trestle, back to the cut on the other side of the mountain. So looking at the soil again, here we see some lighter gray. We see it on the left side as well, and a more yellowish whitish color where the cut is, both on the left and on the right. Now the cut makes a bend here to the right. I don't really know why that is. Perhaps it's just for an access road, because there is a road that leads to it, or they plan the track there. So here we come through the cut on the right. You see the embankment. Embankments are cheaper than trestles, so they try to extend that as far as they could. Eventually you have to go onto a trestle. And just look at all the clues that are there in this trestle. So let's have a listen as well to get a sense of the power and the atmosphere that must be in this valley. So looking at the trestle and the coloration, the rust is at the bottom of these girder stretches in between. I wouldn't have guessed that. And looking also at the footing of the trestles, they're not all fully flat in a horizontal plane. When they go up the mountain and the one on the right are actually under an angle. So the land is not cut there to make a flat foot for the trestle. The trestle is adjusted to the land. So there's some clues right there. Let's just have another quick listen at the screeching of the wheels to get the sense of the atmosphere, how it is once the locomotives have passed. On to Greenery, the trees in the background, as we saw from the satellite as well, they're all more or less the same color. But to add some accents, in the valley there are quite a few dead trees that are more seasonal, and the trees with the yellow leaves on them. I guess it's autumn just before winter. Doesn't look like winter has already passed, because the grass is still relatively green. And then let's look at the grass and the shades that you have there. There's at least 5 or 6 colors in there. So conclusion is, if you want to make a valley and a scene like this, you need to blend multiple colors to get realism. You have a spot of brown there, it's a bit patchy, maybe that's where a puddle is. Then there is a road that goes through it. Between the trash, let's say, there are some green spurs where a plant is somehow thriving more than in other areas. And then there's the, well, let's call it trash and junk on the bottom of the screen, and a little gate to segregate the property from the valley and where the trestle is. Another thing to mention is the scale of the trestle. There's easily 9 or 10 cars on this trestle, yet this is the tightest curve that we saw on the satellite image. So that means the radius of this curve is is something you simply cannot model almost. So you're always going to have a lot of compression when modeling scenes like this, which is fine. It's about modeling the core element of the scene. So to model this scene, I'll just keep talking as we see these beautiful 4 locomotives. I'll get the core. So you see the trestle has 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 elements. Well, it's an uneven number, so I would model probably 5 of them, or 7 if you have the space. Then the other core feature is the embankment on the right, and the cuts both on the right and on the left of the trestle itself. And on the right hand, underneath the trestle is a valley, and the left half more or less is mountainous terrain and this creek that we spotted. So that will be another core feature that I would like to model in it. If I can get half of the size, or maybe a third of it, of the trestle length on my layout, that will be fine for me. So let's have one final look at the soil material. We went through the trees, we went through the grass, we looked at the trestle. Let's have a look at the rocks in the soil and the embankment, and the cut. You see here, the cut is quite light material, so they probably used that material to make this embankment here, just where this beautiful BNSF locomotive is. And then if we follow it all the way around, they'll probably do likely the same thing. So how these cuts happen, what you'll see is it's a hillside, and somewhere along the hillside there needs to be some flattened terrain for the track to be put on. So they simply cut a piece of the hillside to create this flat section for the track to be put on, and then they'll dump the material, in this case on the left hand side, to help make this embankment for the track. So this is the beautiful scene I want to leave you with. Just look at the different soil colors again and the different vegetation. There's so much to see. So that was it, this episode of See It to Model It. If you want to see more videos just like this, don't forget to subscribe and like, and feel free to donate. How to do that is mentioned in the comments down below. Thank you very much.